off to Ellis Island for the dedication of the Bob Hope Memorial Library and a sneak preview of the Bob Hope First Class Commemorative Stamp. I'm Kristal Hart reporting from Ellis Island. We honor a man who has given the world the greatest of all gifts, laughter and understanding. He is an American of distinction and personal courage.
What are you, a man or a mouse?
A man or a mouse? Where's Mama?
I want to tell you, Mr. President, with all the travel and all the work you've done, you look just great.
You look great, too.
Well, I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
In tribute to a great American who dedicated his life and his humor to the service of others, the Research Library on Ellis Island was renamed to the Bob Hope Memorial Library on November 24, 2008. As part of the festivities, the United States Postal Service unveiled a sneak preview of the Bob Hope First Class Commemorative Stamp that will be issued in the spring of 2009. And now, a few words from Norman Liss, the Chairman of Development for the Ellis Island Restoration Commission.
We're so happy that this great American, great patriot is being honored today. We met him during his lifetime. He came to Ellis Island, very excited about Ellis Island. And we first met with him and presented him the idea of being honored at Ellis Island. He was thrilled, and he sent us a wonderful letter. And we stayed in contact. And then we passed away. We suggested to the Park Service that we name the Bob Hope Memorial Library. And Park Service responded, "Norman, you need a congressional bill." So we went to work. It took 5 years through the House and Senate. And the President signed it, and here we today at the culmination of our efforts. And we're very thrilled. He's a great man. What he did for the veterans and the people out in the military was extraordinary. Everyone felt better when they saw their sons and daughters overseas being entertained by Bob Hope. And that's probably what it's all about. He was a great patriot, and we're honored to have been part of the process.
On hand was U.S. Representative Eliot Engel, who sponsored the legislation and spearheaded it through the House and Senate.
Let me say before I begin, I want to give Norman Liss tremendous credit because he's the one who came to me many years ago and told me that the Commission had this wonderful idea and would I sponsor the bill in the Congress, and I said I'd be honored to do so. And we had a struggle for a few years, Norman, but we made it, and we're here today. And I must also tell you that personally, I have said this to a few people here this morning, this is a very special moment for me, not only because we honor a great man, Bob Hope, but also because being a native New Yorker, I have never been to Ellis Island before. And this is my first trip here, and all four of my grandparents passed through here 100 years ago, coming from Eastern Europe. Bob Hope came through Ellis Island in 1908 with his family, just 4 years old. And after a long period of restoration, Ellis Island was turned into a museum in 1990. And I'm so happy it was, because this is really the gateway to America. And it should be part of the National Park Service. And I want to thank the National Park Service for doing the wonderful job that they do here. The purpose of the restoration here was to remember the 12 million people who passed through Ellis Island, as Norman said, from 1892 to 1954, to pursue the American dream. And when you're thinking of the American dream, who embodies it more than Bob Hope? Who embodies it more than Bob Hope? I don't know of anybody else. He and his family arrived in the United States with almost nothing. And now he's become a household word. Everyone knows Bob Hope. In fact, Norman reminded me that when I made my speech on the House floor, I said, you know, after all, this is Bob Hope. That's all you have to say. I mean, you don't have to explain anything. You just say, after all, this is Bob Hope, and everybody knows the name Bob Hope. Everybody knows who Bob Hope was and what he did and how much he meant to this country. So it's just a no-brainer to do this. It's my honor and pleasure to be the conduit, but really everybody understands what Bob Hope means to this country. And As Norman says, after all, it is Bob Hope. And as he pointed out, for nearly 6 decades, during holidays from World War II until the Gulf War, Bob Hope traveled the globe, bringing a little bit of of America to U.S. troops during times of peace and war. And Congress in 1997 named him an honorary veteran, and that was a good thing that we did. And he was recognized in so many other ways for his work. He's been honored with over 1,500 awards. And as I said, I'm honored to be here today as the primary sponsor of the legislation which President Bush signed into law.
The United States Postal Service is very pleased to be a part of this very special day. And I want to say good morning and welcome to our sneak preview, or as we like to call it, and I think Bob Hope would appreciate this, the first stop on the road to the new 2009 Bob Hope commemorative stamp. And I would like to ask Bob Hope's very proud daughter, Linda Hope, to join me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to unveil the image of the 2009 Bob Hope commemorative stamp. Stamps are going to go everywhere, and we on the Postal Service hope that you buy your share and send a smile to those you know who all you have to do is say Bob Hope.
All you had to do was just say, Bob Hope is going to come. Geez, everybody went wild. You know, they thought it was the great. They started smiling. Couldn't get over it. Excuse me. But he was really great, and we had to fight to get a seat, and we started really several hours before the show even started. Otherwise, you'd be standing up in the back, and everybody had to wear a uniform. He didn't want nobody to wear civilian clothes, and that was the same thing in Okinawa. We had to wear a uniform, which made it better for him. He knew everybody was a military person who was in the audience. But I can go on, ramp it on and on, but I think I just said enough what I wanted to. But Jesus, I'm really honored to meet you. Really thank you.
It's a very exciting day for us, and a day where they've announced the naming of the library here on Ellis Island for my dad. The Postal Service has unveiled its stamp that'll be out this spring, and tomorrow the New York Public Library is doing their concluding event. It's been going, I think, about 2 months now, and they put together a wonderful, comprehensive sort of retrospective of Dad's films. And I'll be speaking there. I'll hopefully have a voice by then. And then we go over to Macy's, where we present the band scholarship, and that's something we've been doing for a number of years, a foundation. The Bob Hope Band Scholarship, and a lovely young man wrote a wonderful essay, and he will get the individual scholarship, and then the band gets the rest of the money.
He was just such a wonderful American with all his service to the troops in time of war and in peace. But give us a father's story. Do you have a special story about him that you particularly enjoy?
Well, I love that before he would go to work in the morning when he was doing a picture and we'd be getting ready to go to school, we had a breakfast room that had a big sliding glass door. And before he'd go out the door, he'd blow us all a kiss, and he'd go out and do a little shuffle, a little dance step, and do his wave, sign off to Paramount.
His first hit song with Shirley Ross has been following him around ever since.
Thanks for the memory of rainy afternoons, swinging Harlem tunes, motor trips, burning lips, burning toast and fruit. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of crap games on the floor, nights in Singapore. You might have been a headache, but you never were a bore. I thank you